guys, this is Rachel from Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to be making the 2016 VVCAL square Anna Maria in Scheepjes Softfun with a size 4mm hook. So how we're going to start this square is with a slip knot and chain 3. And then slip stitch into the third chain from the hook to make a ring. And then into our ring, we're gonna make beginning 2 tiara cluster. So just go straight into your ring with a single crochet. You don't need to chain up or anything, just go straight into the ring with a single. And then chain 2. And then make a regular treble crochet. So just yarn over twice and make sure your yarn overs are not spaced out like this. Make sure they're all kind of snugly gathered at the front. And then insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook 3 times, and your treble crochet is finished. So now you've got the beginning 2 tiara cluster. And this is going to stand in as a regular 2 tiara cluster. Then we're going to chain 3, and this is going to be our repeat. Chain 3 and 2 tiara cluster. So I've yarned over twice, insert the hook into the ring, pull up a loop, draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook twice. So you're leaving behind 1 loop here. Yarn over twice again, insert hook it back into the ring and pull up a loop. Draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook twice and yarn over and draw the yarn through all 3 of these loops. And that makes a 2 tiara cluster. And the way to have success with that is, again, to make sure that your 2 yarn overs are not super spaced out. And then your 2 tiara cluster is going to be nice and neat like this. So you're going to chain 3 and 2 tiara cluster 10 more times to have a total of 12 2 tiara clusters into your ring. All right, so I'll see you guys whenever mine's finished. Okay, so here's my round 1 complete and ready to join. And I'm going to show you how I join into a beginning 2 tiara cluster. Normally you would join into a regular tiara like this through the top V to both loops at the top of the stitch. But instead of doing it that way, I'm going to treat it like a cluster because it's the beginning 2 tiara cluster. So I'm going to go through this front loop right here and then this loop here. And that's how we're going to make it look like, with a slip stitch, that's how we're going to make it look like the others in the ring. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch into our first chain here. And then we're going to make a beginning 3 DC cluster. So to start that, we're going to make a beginning DC. So just go straight into your chain space with a single crochet and then make 1 chain. And that's the first DC of our 3 DC cluster. Now we're just going to make a 2 DC cluster. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and yarn over and draw the yarn through 2 loops. So now you've got 1 loop left behind, and just repeat that. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops. And now you've got 3 loops on your hook. Once you close that, you've got your beginning 3 DC cluster. And we're going to chain 4 and then make a full DC cluster into our next chain space. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook. And you're going to repeat that twice more. All right, and our last one. Okay, so now we've got 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to draw the yarn through all 4 loops. And now we've got our 3 DC cluster. We're going to chain 4 again and make a 3 DC cluster in the next chain space. And then we're going to chain 3. Okay, so now we're going to chain 3. So our repeat is going to be chain 4, 3 DC cluster, chain 4, 3 DC cluster, chain 3, 3 DC cluster. All right, so 2 times in a row of chain 4 and then 1 time of chain 3. All right, and so we're going to work that way all the way around till we get back to the beginning. Okay, here's our round finished up now, and I'm just ready to join into our first beginning 3 DC cluster here. So I'm going to put the hook through these 3 loops that you can see. It's the 3 loops from our partial DCs there that make up the cluster, and I'm going to make a slip stitch into that, and that's how I'm going to join my round. So now we're going to work straight into this chain space with a beginning DC. So we're going to make a single crochet and a chain 1, and then 2 more DCs in the same space like that. And now we're going to make a picot. So we're going to chain 3, and this is my favorite way to make a picot. Chain 3 and then single crochet into the previous stitch. So in this case, that's a double crochet. So we're going to go through these, like the middle of it right here, these 2 bars right here with a single. And that's how I make my picot stitches. So now we're going to make 2 more doubles in the same space, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's going to kind of look like that with a picot right there. So now in every space around, we're just going to make 3 double crochet and then picot and then 2 double crochet. Okay, so I've got my 3 doubles, chain 3, make a single crochet into the top of the previous top of the previous DC, and then 2 more DC in the same space. All right, so just like that in all the stitches all the way around, you repeat these 5 stitches. Okay, so I'm at the end of my round now, and I'm ready to join into the top of the beginning DC with a slip stitch. And then to start the next round, we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of just working into the next stitch, you're going to kind of put your hook into between the previous stitches. What it is you're going between the final stitch of the previous row and then the first stitch of the previous row. So if you look at this space right here, that's where you're going to put your hook to go ahead and get started. So you're going to insert your hook there, pull up your loop, and go straight into your single crochet, chain 1. So that's going to be the first DC of our round, is our beginning DC right here. So you can see that I've worked into in between these past 2 stitches right here, and you can see where I made my stitch. So now we're going to chain 2, and you're going to make your corner, and we're going to work in between these groups here. So we have our 3DC picot 2DC groups, and we're going to be working in between them into this space right here. There's no chain there, but you're just going to work in the space between them. So you're going to make 3 trebles, a chain 3, and 3 trebles. So I've yarned over twice to go into the space for my first treble. I'm going to make another treble and another one, and then chain 3, and then 3 more trebles. And I'll show you what the corner looks like. Okay, so here's how our corner is going to look. 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles. Now we're going to chain 2, and into our in between our next 2 groups here, we're going to do 2 double crochet. All right, then chain 2 again, and in between our next 2 groups, 2 double crochet. All right, chain 2, and now we're back at our corner again. So in the next one, you're going to go ahead and work your 3 trebles, chain 3, and 3 trebles. And that's how we're going to work all the way around the square until we're back to the beginning. Alrighty, so my round is finished and I'm ready to join the round, but first I need to complete it with a DC into the first area here, because we have our beginning DC, but this is a space for a 2DC cluster. So we need to go ahead and work that very last double crochet in between those groups. So now we've got our double crochet right next to our beginning DC. We're ready to join into that beginning DC with a slip stitch. And remember, you're just working into the chain 1 of your beginning DC when you close the round. So now we're ready to start with our next round. So our final round is just single crochets. So we're going to work 3 singles into this first chain space. And remember, I don't chain up, I just go straight into the single here. And then just work a single into these next 3 treble stitches. And then 3 singles for the corner. Work singles into your next 3 trebles here. And then you're out of chain space again. 3 singles in there. Now you've got your 2 DC, so make a single in each of those. Okay, next chain space, 3 singles. All right, 2 doubles, so make your singles in there. And now we're at the beginning of our repeat with 3 singles in the next chain space. So the easy way to remember kind of what you're doing for this round is if there's a stitch, just work a single into it. If there's a chain space, work 3 singles. So that's how you're gonna work this final round. All right, you guys, so my final round of DC stitches is complete and I'm just ready to cut the yarn and weave in the tail here. So I just wanted to show you guys the video for this 2016 VVCAL square, Anna Maria. This is actually the most popular square from that crochet along, even after all these 4 years of since the cal. So I hope you guys enjoyed the square, and every Monday I'll be posting a new video from this crochet along since I didn't do videos at the time. So I will see you next Monday with a new one. Thanks guys, bye-bye.